What's up, guys? Luke here. I don't have time to work. This is no one because Troy's not with us again. He's up there living it up in the Gold Coast with his family. Jeez, I miss him. I mean, look, he's gonna be back next week. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be all right, you know. But to be honest with you, things have been getting a little bit weird in the I don't have time to work world. Just working by myself, you know, making sure that everything's pumping along okay. You know, I've been talking to myself a little bit, you know. Hey, bro, look. You've got to like really start replacing the fucking toilet paper in this place. Hey, I'm sick of fucking doing it for you. I mean, there's more than one person in this place. We need to get shit done, all right? I'm trying to work here, and you fucking don't do anything, all right? What kind of fucking attitude is that? I'm the only one who replaces the fucking toilet paper, all right? Don't come in here and pretend like you're fucking working. I see you in here on Facebook and fucking Fortnite, and you never do it. I'm sick of this shit. I'm out of here. Fuck this, I don't have time to work shit. I'm out of here. Good. Fuck that guy. Let's get back to work. I'm a little bit crazy. That's all right. That's okay. This week we've got two amazing guests once again. I got to speak to, finally I got my first overseas guest, and what a guest he was. Now, before I get to that, the first guest that we had was Liam from RefreshJuice.com.au. Now, this dude is from the other side of Australia, over in Perth. This guy is one of the first people in Australia to manufacture hemp milk. That's right, a completely natural source that he's turned into milk. So an alternative for your almonds and your coconut milk and your, obviously, cow milk. Now, I had a chat with him about how he got started in that game, how he started RefreshJuice.com.au, and where he got all of these ideas from. Now, a little hint, he used to work for a musician who sang about purple, wore a lot of purple, and was the most badass motherfucker on the planet. I'll let you watch the interview and you'll find out who it was. Here he is, Liam from RefreshJuice.com.au. Hey Liam, how you going?
Hey, good, thank you.
Hey, the live Instagram thing isn't too scary, is it?
Well, it's too early to tell.
Too early to tell. Look, I'll be really gentle. I know that this is your first time getting on Instagram Live, so I'll keep the questions really easy. Now, for anyone who's jumping over from the Refresh Juice side of the Instagram, my name's Luke. I run, with my partner, I run a thing called the I Don't Have Time to Work podcast. We talk to business owners, entrepreneurs, basically anyone who's kind of kicking the trends, trying to get out of the normalities, you know. And when I saw that Liam made hemp milk, I thought he was the perfect example of trying to, like, you know, stick it to the man, do something a bit different. And I love that about him. And you know, I saw you were on 9 News, and I just saw how passionate you were about the product. So I just needed to reach out to you, basically.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for reaching out. It's since the exposure on Channel 9, it's really taken a life of its own, and I knew it was going to be popular, but I mean, people are driving for hours to get their hands on a couple of litres of hemp milk. So, yeah, the support has been great.
That's awesome. Well, it's going to be a couple of hour flight for me to get over because I'm over on the East Coast, in just near Newcastle. Now, if you don't mind, just tell us a bit about yourself and how you got involved with the Refresh Juice team.
Yeah, so I'm a chef by trade. I've been a chef for about 16 years. And during that time, I was lucky enough to be a personal chef. I travel around the world cooking for musicians.
Wow.
Yeah, and a lot of the musicians that I cook for had a very juice-heavy diet.
Sure.
So that's kind of where I first got exposed to it, and then I moved to San Francisco and lived there. And yeah, the juice was everywhere, this cold pressed juice. So when I came back to Perth, obviously being a chef isn't the healthiest of lifestyles. So I wanted to get healthier myself and be surrounded by a healthy community. So yeah, started RefreshJuice 3 years ago at the end of this month. And yeah, haven't looked back. I haven't worked as hard as this in my entire life.
Yep.
But yeah, totally worth it. And the support has been great. And then, yeah, along came hemp milk. Man, I wish I started that 3 years ago. You know, I would have had a lot less grey hairs. But yeah, so that's basically how it all started. And I do use my chef background. I think that's our point of difference. Our flavour combinations. We use some salt in some of the juices. We use kakadu, plum, lemon myrtle. So really keeping the Australiana theme through the brand.
Yep.
Yeah, and using the best produce. We go farm direct with about 80 to 90% of our produce, and we pay them market price. So they're getting top dollar directly into their pocket. And it's a lot more sustainable. Also, kind of sticking it to the man, you know, because otherwise they send their produce to the market basically on consignment, and whatever the sales rep can get for their product, that's what the farmer gets. So they're really, you know, just kind of crossing their fingers for a good price. Whereas, you know, whatever we agree on, that's what they get paid. 100% of it goes straight to them.
That's right. It's a transaction between yourself and them, and that's it. There's no middleman or anything like that, which is great.
Correct. Yeah.
So you mentioned about hemp milk, and obviously that was the thing that caught me to get in contact with you. Where did the idea for hemp milk come from? Did you see it somewhere, or was it just like, oh, this is a great product that I should be able to turn into something?
Basically, it stemmed from. I do quite a few almond milks and cashew milks. So I was looking for a nut milk alternative. That was the basic premise. And then I don't know if you've ever Googled health benefits of hemp, and I've lost hours of my life going down the rabbit hole.
It's quite a versatile product, hemp, really. You can do a lot with it.
Yeah, the whole plant, you know, is so useful. So it stemmed from a nut milk alternative, and then when I tried it, it was delicious. As soon as this was before it became legal to sell as a food product in Australia. So as soon as it became legal in November, I was just trying to push it out to the market and be first to market.
Yeah.
Which we were the first people in Australia producing a fresh hemp milk. And it's really kind of showed some dividends. You know, there's been a lot of traction.
Definitely.
A lot of people over from where you are on the East Coast are asking us to post it over, and so we're making our way over to you.
Definitely. Well, look, you're actually. I'm vegan, so I'm all about the alternative milks. You know, almond milk and coconut milk and things like that, and that's one of the reasons why I was so excited about to have like another option, because, you know, when you're vegan or vegetarian, you know, it's quite limited with a lot of stuff, and especially when it comes to milk if you're vegan. So having another option is absolutely incredible, and I can't wait to get the product over here. Now, you were saying that you were you're really passionate about natural products. Where does that come from? Is that just from your chef background, or were your parents kind of like really into fresh stuff, or was it like it's just all kind of fallen into place?
I mean, I think it's mostly my chef background.
Sure.
One of the things I noticed a lot during my touring days was the waste. It's just such a wasteful industry, which killed me. And I actually one day, when I was on tour, obviously you live life to excess, and traveling around the world. I think I've worked in 90 countries and every state in America. I woke up one day and stopped coffee, alcohol, cigarettes, became vegan, just everything cold turkey. And I think that perpetuated my decision to be a lot more conscious about what I do, not only in business, but all of last year I didn't buy any personal effects. I got rid of half of my wardrobe on the 1st of January and only bought food, petrol and rent. Otherwise, just being super conscious about what I'm doing and the waste that I'm creating. So Refresh is a good avenue for me to kind of voice that. We do 50-cent bottle returns on our glass bottles. We only package in glass, so 50 cents is pretty high, but we wanted to make it worthwhile for you to drive out there with your bottles and to swap them over. A 10-cent. Yeah. Not many people pick up 10 cents off the street, so you're not exactly going to save a few bottles and then drive across town to get a refund. Yeah,
absolutely, man. That's such a good idea. Such a great idea. I wish that we had like more things like that. We've just had introduced here the bottle return through the New South Wales state government. So you take plastic bottles or glass bottles, and as long as they've got a label on them, like a barcode, you basically insert them. I think it's like 5 cents a bottle or something like that, but there's an option on there where you can give it to charity, and then there's like 3 or 4 different options for charity. So yeah, it's a really, really good handy thing, and especially like because not only are you recycling, you have the option to give it to charity. So I think that's great.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's just little incentives. You may not want the 85 cents or $1.50 or whatever, but there's someone out there who does. So
yeah, absolutely.
I think that's great. And the thing about WA is we don't have a bottle recycling plant over here. So if any glass does get recycled, it gets trucked over to the East Coast, and then like what's the point? The carbon footprint of that, is it even worth it? I know.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I encourage recycling, but when the government or whatever city you live in doesn't support your decision, it makes it really tough.
Yeah, absolutely. Troy, my partner, and I actually have very, very in-depth conversations about how we feel about our government, and sometimes they get a little bit heated and not very nice. But like we're both on the same level of how we feel about it. But yeah, I won't get into it today. But one of our viewers who happens to actually be Troy, he's up in Queensland at the moment. He says it's such a great idea, and do you have any plans to take your product worldwide?
Yes, I'm in a situation here. I've definitely got RefreshJuice and want to continue to pump out really good product, help the farmers, and then obviously I've opened this can of worms. Great problem to have with the hemp milk. But I'm speaking to other potential investors. I spoke to a buyer from China last week. There's people. So the video that you watched was aired in the UK and in America. So there's people trying to order and trying to purchase from all over the world already. So I'm a chef. I'm not a proper business person. So it's going to take quite a bit of funding and a lot of brains behind how to execute this, and it's totally beyond me.
Well, hopefully someone in your community or in our community might even be able to help you out, and that's part of the whole, getting together and talking to different people is about communicating and networking with, people who can do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I've spoken to a few friends, one of which is a venture capitalist, and he's very excited about the prospect. Especially for the vegans out there, the countries that don't have enough land to have cattle roaming around to produce some milk. Those are the countries that are calling out for a product like this. And if absolutely. we can grow the hemp milk in Australia, so we're still supporting the Australian farmer, and sending that product overseas, and all the better.
Great. Now, on a bit of a negative one, have you found any backlash because of the hemp milk? Has anyone been maybe a little bit upset that you're using a product like that?
I mean, there's been a few comments like it's the devil's milk and I'm keeping this away from my child kind of thing. But I think at the end of the day, they're uneducated comments. Hemp is, I think it is the oldest propagated grain, or what do you call it? It's the oldest. Sorry, going blank.
That's all right. That's cool. I guess the way that I saw it is like, I've got a lot of friends who are they're advocates for hemp in every form. They it creates stronger rope. It's better for clothes. It's better for consumption because it doesn't have the THC that the other plant has. And I think a lot of people just hear hemp and they automatically go to that because they've the media's indoctrinated them into thinking that it is something that it isn't.
Yeah, and that's the benefit of it. You can use the whole plant. It deposits nutrients back into the soil for the farmers, so it's great for stock rotation. It's just basically a scare tactic from way back when. And one of the reasons for the blanket ban on hemp is obviously the drug connotations, the relationship to marijuana, but also the paper industry. They started making paper out of hemp, and the paper industry knew that their profits were going to deteriorate because of that. So they and the American government put a blanket ban. If we can bring that back, grow hemp instead of trees, or as well as trees, I should say. Far more renewable and easier to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you mentioned before that you were on tour with some bands and things like that. Are there any names that you can drop for us so we can get a bit excited about that?
There's a few names.
If not, it's cool. It's completely cool. But yeah,
I think. Can you see?
Is that Prince?
Yeah.
Is that Prince?
So
Prince is one of my favorites. That's amazing.
Is he? Yeah. So I was one of his chefs for his 21 days sold out in London. So all those are tickets from the sold out shows.
Yeah.
I've worked for Madonna, Spice Girls, Elton John, The Cure.
Wow. So bands, big bands. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. No, it was good fun, and as a young guy, this was a few years ago. I got paid to travel the world and cook great food and listen to, for the most part, great music.
Yeah, for the most part. I like the way that you said that. Cool. So we won't keep you for too much longer. Liam, thank you so much for joining us. I've got one more question before you leave. If you had one piece of advice for people out there when it comes to running your own race, what would it be?
Well, head down, bum up, definitely. And I mean, as long as you're true to yourself and your product, you have to be 100% committed, because there'll be haters out there. And people will always question your product no matter what it is. So if you put 100% of yourself into it, and you're committed, like I still do 3 years in, and it sucks when people, give you some hate, throw some shade, but it's those other, 99% that are completely on board and love the product, and that's what gets me out of bed every day. So as much of a cliche as it is, it really does help if your heart and soul is completely invested, and then get a community around you to invest in that as well, and then invest in whatever they're doing. So I think it's just hard work, and keep an open mind.
Dude, that is absolutely perfect. Liam, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone that's joined us from the I Don't Have Time to Work community, make sure that you go over and follow refreshjuice.com.au. I'll make a post a little bit later and there'll be a tag in it. And all the guys from refreshjuice.com.au, I'm Luke from I Don't Have Time to Work. We have a podcast that we talk to people like Liam. Come over and follow us. Our podcasts come out every Friday. Liam, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again soon.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me, and have
Thanks
a great day.
You too. See you, man. Bye.
Bye.
I told you he worked for a badass motherfucker. Yeah, it's what an incredibly great chat I had with Liam. I really enjoy his passion for what he's doing. He really took something that he knew that he could do and something that he was passionate about, and he turned it into something that he could do for financial gain. Hopefully we're going to be seeing Refresh Juice on a worldwide scale sometime. And as I said in the chat, we're here to connect people. So if you are someone who wants to work with Refresh Juice, let us know, or go straight over to the Refresh Juice Instagram. Link's just there. Next up, we've got Edgar. This guy is actually a pirate.
He's heavy.
Okay, he's actually a pirate. I asked him, so what do you do for a living? He's like, I've been a pirate for 10 years. I'm not joking. You just watch the video, all right? It's coming up in a minute. This dude is a swashbuckling wrestler. He's now if I get this right, a buck-washling rider. He's a personal trainer. He's a part of the guild. He's a very, very passionate dude. Wait until right at the end of the video when I ask him to give his piece of advice to our viewers. Dude goes off like a frog in a fucking sock. So passionate, so incredible. I absolutely love talking to Edgar, and I can't wait to talk to him again, and I'm really happy to have him a part of the I Don't Have Time to Work community. And here he is.
People who are, hey, how you doing, man?
Hey, man. Good.
That's good.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for being on. Sorry about the tech issues there, but I'm glad that you're on.
Tech is not my thing.
No. Yeah. No, I get it. So it's nice and early there, is it? 10:30?
Yeah. Just rolled out of bed, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. So how you been, man?
Good. Busy. It's a busy time in the guild. We've got lots of projects all kicking off at the same time, which is, how I like it.
Yeah.
It keeps me incredibly humble.
Yeah, that's good. So I guess we'll go through like a bunch of questions with you. We've got like 4 or 5 questions, and like feel free to swear or anything like that. You can say whatever you want on here. We don't really care.
I normally do.
That's good. So I guess I'll start with tell us a bit about yourself.
All right. I guess I've been basically a pirate for the last 10 years. I mean, how can I do this without boring you to death?
Give us the dot points. Give us the dot points.
All right. I took up wrestling when I was 16, decided that's what I wanted to do. I got real badly knocked out and broken on my first show because it just didn't go to plan. So it then became difficult to be a wrestler when your mum and dad don't drive you around to wrestling because you're a child. So I left school, went to university, studied philosophy, and started writing for a living, writing tedious copy for websites and things.
Yeah.
Terrible. But I'm quite quick at it, so I managed to make sort of a living doing that. I started a band and started performing and realized that much like with wrestling, what really gets me off is performing, the expulsion of massive amount of energy out to people and then feeling it come back again. So yeah, that sort of manifested as bands and shows and wrestling and things like that. When I left uni, I ended up kind of bouncing around just doing the band for a bit, and then realized I needed to actually pay to live. So got a full-time job at a desk, writing web copy and stuff. And I lasted about a year or so before I stopped my car on the way to work And thought long and hard about just shooting myself and being done with it, there and then,
Yeah,
why long it out?
Well, yeah, I mean, one extreme to another. Either go to work or shoot yourself, man. I mean, they're the two options. At some point, they are.
Just the guilt, death or glory.
That's
Death,
exactly
glory,
right.
or I don't know, the
Yeah,
commute.
that's right.
So I quit and
glory.
was like,
Yeah. Sorry.
no?
I was going to say,
then
one of my things that I like to say is hell or glory, or nothing in between.
yeah, exactly. Like, I think when people say things like death or glory or all or nothing, people get too caught up in. I mean, obviously that's an extreme statement, right? But the point isn't quite literally do all of the things or kill yourself. I mean, it's the point is it's an approach to life. The idea is like do the things that make you say fuck yeah, and don't do the things that make that don't make you say fuck yeah. Like it's just a guiding principle. All or nothing doesn't mean all the things or none of the things. It means if you're gonna do something, fucking do it, or don't. Like spend your energy elsewhere. It's much better invested in something you really want to do.
Fuck yeah. So
that's kind of what I did.
How did you get into wrestling?
How does anyone get into wrestling? I watched it on TV. I had a younger brother. We put the sofas together and dropped elbows. I went to see WWE or WWF as it was at the time in London, and there was some people handing out flyers for a wrestling school. And as a child, even as an adult, most people don't know there are wrestling schools you can go to. So I went to wrestling school for a bit and learned to do some wrestling. Then years later, after uni and everything else, I moved back to London and I found the London School of Lucha Libre, which is hands down the best wrestling school I've ever come across. And I just joined up there, and man, you can train 4 days a week. You can train 12 hours a week there. Become a wrestler. You just learn to do it.
That's fucking awesome. That's fucking awesome. So you're a swashbuckling wrestler. You said that you've been a pirate for about 10 years. So I guess to someone who's watching this right now and going, how the fuck do I become a pirate? How do you do it?
Take no shit, man. Take no shit. That's step one. Sorry, you made a noise like you're about to say something.
Oh, no. Sorry, I was agreeing. Take no shit.
Oh, that was an agreeing. That was an agreeing noise.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do I mean when I say a pirate? So, what I mean when I say that I mean a pirate is I don't feel beholden to anyone. So I work for myself. I do really whatever the hell I want to do. And the piratical, the swashbuckling element kind of comes from the fact that most of the things that provide an income for me or any kind of vague stabilization are the result of performance elements. So swashbuckling, right? It's loosely defined as acts of daring and bravado, right? I make my money by getting beaten up or jumping off of things or falling off of things or setting fire to things or exploding stuff or charging through crowds of people whilst rum drunk. They're the ways that I make a living. Which one day I realized they all seem to share the common theme of being somewhat swashbuckly and piratical. And so I realized, dear God, I've somehow managed to eke a living, basically getting drunk and storming around the place, bellowing at things. So I was like, wow, damn, I'm a pirate. That's useful.
So when you file your tax return, do you file it under as a pirate?
Oh, don't be a dick. I don't file a tax return. Who the fuck do you think I am?
Good boy.
I start limited companies and then fold them before I have to submit my accounts.
Very good. Very good. That's what I like to hear. I've noticed that you're a bit of a metalhead. So I've got to ask, the band that you started, was it a metal band or was it like a punk band or what kind of band was it?
Good question. So the band that I started was a direct response to the fact that we kept going to live gigs and open mic nights, and they were always the same band, not physically the same people, but it may as well have been doing the same thing over and over again. And so my housemates and I, we were like, fuck, we can do this. This is easy. They drink for free. Let's just make a band. So we made a band. And I'm a metalhead. One of the other guys in the band was into his rock. Another guy's in the band kind of rocky. One guy very much not rocky. Incubus and so on.
Thanks.
but because of the philosophy of the band, which was just to fuck with everyone else and get the drinks for free, it came out punk and metal and highly satirical. I refused to write any lyrics for the first 6 months. So every time we played a song, I just like bellowed nothing. Yeah, and then over time, we went traveling. We kind of went our separate ways, and me and the guitar player kind of stuck together. And so we moved to an acoustic format. So we played the same punk and metal songs, but just on a single acoustic guitar, and actually found that that's infinitely funnier and easier to relate to, and actually more punk. Like, is there anything more punk than turning up at a gig with one single guitar, not even really having a capo or a plectrum, and being like, I don't know, plug this in, we'll do something.
Not at all.
So,
I think it's the most punk thing you can do for sure. Now you're also a personal trainer. Of course, I've read this off your Instagram, so I'm speaking as if I know you personally. So do you are you a personal trainer for the love of it, or is it like more of an income thing?
Very good question. I qualified as a PT in 2009, which shows how old I am. And I started personal training in, I think, like a Fitness First or something. And again, had that reoccurring moment of my life where I was on my way to work and stopped in my tracks and was like, do I shoot myself now? Because it was just hell on earth. Just hell on earth. Everything I hated about PT rolled up into one sausage roll of misery. So I stopped doing it because I'm not a salesperson. I think I hate money. I try and give money away. It messes with my brain. So being in a small environment, trying to sell my services to people that generally don't want it and are just trying to say no politely, didn't fly for my lifestyle choices. So what I've basically done is been like a qualified but yet not advertising personal trainer. So as I meet people around my life, if it turns out they want some training, they're local to me, I can like shimmy in there and be like, look, you probably don't realize on account of me being a buffoon, but I'm actually a qualified personal fitness trainer. I've done a lot of this fitness stuff, and I can help you out. So recently, I decided to roll with that a bit more on account of starting some new projects. So I'm opening my own strongman gym down where I live, where I'm going to do like dedicated strongman PT and try and get more people into the sport of strongman, because it's just badass, man. It's so good. It's so much more enjoyable for me and people like me than traditional gym work and bodybuilding and so on. Sure. So yeah, it's to answer your question properly, it's something that I've always done because I love it, and the second that it starts to feel like work, I say, oh, go sit on a dick, which is what I do with everything.
Yeah, I was actually about to ask that. Do you find that encompasses basically your whole life, where something starts to become being too much work, you're like, go eat a dick, get out of my life kind of thing?
Yeah, man. Like, I realized early on that there's not a lot that differentiates me from other people. But the one thing I do seem to have is when I love doing something, you can really tell.
Yeah.
And that gives out a kind of an energy that people seem to. I hate myself for saying this. It seems to inspire people. And that stops happening if I don't love what I'm doing. If I don't love the songs I'm playing, if I'm pissed off about having to be on stage, if I don't want to be at an obstacle race because it's whatever, like I don't know who the people are, if I don't believe what I'm writing, if I don't actually want to be training somebody, it fucking shows, man. I'm like a child. I'll pout or something. Whereas conversely, if I really want to be there, I seem to give off an enjoyable energy that people seem to like and get something out of. So I have to be true to that. And just as soon as I'm not with it, I have to put it to one side and do something I am with.
That's
for the good of the land.
That's an incredibly noble and awesome characteristic to have, I think. Now, I have to ask, what's next for you other than the gym? Are you going to start a band again, or are you going to continue not playing in the band, or what's the plans?
The band never dies, brother.
The band never dies. That's exactly right.
We've been going for 10 years. We had our official last ever gig in 2011. So
yeah,
we've actually been going for longer since we haven't been going than we were before. We just, like everything, dude, we play when we want to. and when we get excited about it. So yeah, so the band is still there. We are desperately trying to get our shit together to actually record an album, because we've had songs for 10 years and they're good fucking songs, man, but it's hard to capture the feel of it in real life. Sorry, not in real life, in a recording. So I'm hefting. The other day, right? Check this out. The other day, I bought a whiteboard because I realized I have so much shit going on that I no longer can actually hold it in my brain. So here, it's only a little whiteboard because I kind of
turn it a little bit.
So,
yeah.
I don't need to. I can't show you all the details. I just wanted to give you a feel. So, all right, you asked what I'm up to. All right, here's the list of shit that's going on at the moment. So I'm gonna read down the whiteboard. We've got the strongman gym is coming, so I have the Atlas stones and all the kit that I need to be installed, and we need to start putting that around the place and advertising it. I'm going into. This is really exciting. So what I'm doing at the moment, basically, to give you in a nutshell, is my company and my lifestyle is known as the Guild, right? The Guild is people like me, like-minded people like you, I imagine, that want to be getting on with their own shit and not be held up by all the tedium of trying to be a real person, right? So by all kind of hanging together, we have more clout, you know? Mm-hmm. So what I'm trying to do is gather like-minded people locally and everywhere else, and use strengthening numbers to make cool shit happen, like to get us into cool events, to get companies involved with us, to make our lifestyles kind of easier and more fun. So that's my main focus at the moment. So that encompasses everything I do. So I'm like getting PT clients in, and then sending them off to do obstacle races, and then they learn about my books through that, and then get involved in everything I do in every different way. I'm not answering your question very well. Basically, there's a lot of shit going on.
You're killing it, yeah, for sure. I'm really glad that you brought up the Guild. I was actually going to ask you about that. I'm glad that you clarified it to me, and it sounds like an amazing community to be a part of.
It will be.
It will be. I love the confidence.
We're starting small.
Now, while we're showing people things around, I'm also a metalhead, as you can see by my Slayer and Morbid Angel and Death and Anthrax, and the other half of this podcast, Troy. We actually met singing in bands about 15 years ago. Just
at
around
the same
time. Yeah. Well, he was in one band, I was in another. I was in a Newcastle-based band, and he was in a Central Coast-based band. Both were within about an hour and a half of Sydney. And yeah, that's how we met each other, and we were like, we loved playing in bands, and we stopped. He went off and had some kids, as you do, and I continued with my band. And yeah, I don't know. He's going to see this and he's going to kick my ass. But anyway, I continued with my band, and then I met up with him at a job, and he was just like, "Do you hate working and you want to just like fucking make shit and like be an artist and a musician and a fucking creator?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, let's fucking do this." I'm like, "Sweet, let's do it."
There you go.
Yeah, metalheads, dude.
There you go. Because so people need stuff like that. People need stuff like this podcast and like you guys, because when you start trying to do your own thing, and I say this as someone who's stubbornly only ever done his own thing, it is overwhelming how fucking difficult it is, and how many times a day you think, "What am I doing? I can't afford to put petrol into my car, or I'm living in a bus, or you're crashing on your friend's floors, or whatever it is that makes your life shit because you're trying actually to do something." And especially when you feel like you do actually give something back to the world. Like, no disrespect to anyone with a real job. People do have to have real jobs without a doubt. But I don't feel like I'm being big-headed when I feel that maybe what I give back to the world maybe is more valuable than tapping some numbers into a fucking spreadsheet every day. And yet I can't afford to buy some cereals to eat. I feel like, is there really no way that people that create stuff that isn't valued by how much time they spend sitting doing fuck all really can't eke a living? Like, I don't want to be a millionaire. I just want to get by. And so I love it that you guys bring people like that together and share all of our stories, because, it's heartening to be like, oh, okay, there are people getting by, doing their own thing. They're not miserable.
Definitely. Are you familiar with a YouTuber by the name of Casey Neistat?
No.
No. Okay, so dude's got like almost 10 million subscribers, and he's created a company called 368, and it's for people like yourself and like me and whoever else. And he's based out of New York, and he's got an office there that he basically, because he's got 10 million subscribers on YouTube, he's like, I want you to come to my office and show me what you've got, and then I'm going to put you on my channel, and you're going to be, you know, famous from that and all that kind of shit. So like, yeah, he's thinking that same way, you know, trying to help people up because he's already made it. It's good.
Yeah, right? That has to be the way forward, I think.
I think so.
Because this is it's the absurd thing, isn't it? Like, it's the rock star syndrome, but applied to this sort of 21st century, is like, you're nothing until suddenly you can freaking bring everyone else up with you. Because, I mean, what I've learned, the most valuable thing I think I've learned is that it's never to do, well, it's not as often to do with the quality of what you're doing as it is to do with the reach, obviously. Like, I've realized quite early on that a lot of people are creating a product that is of such quality that if enough people saw it, they'd be sorted. But just enough people can't see it, which is why fucking marketing and advertising has become everything, because the only thing holding most of us back is that people don't know about our shit, right? Because there are like so many people that illustrate, especially, there's so many illustrators that are easily talented enough to make a living illustrating if someone would just give them something to illustrate, but they don't, because no one knows that they're there. Same with musicians. Like, the quality of your recordings doesn't have to be that good. Like, the songs don't have to be good. Listen to music. Listen to pop music. It's terrible. You don't have to make good music to be a professional musician. That's a fact. In fact, the better the music you are, the more likely you are to fail. Like, but so you, like, this dude you mentioned whose name I've immediately forgotten because I'm a fool. Yeah, like having 10 million people or subscribers, and then being in a position to be like, all right, cool, now I can find people who've got a quality output that I can now give an audience to. I mean, that's wonderful, right? We've got to stick together, right?
Absolutely. And that's part of the reason that I reached out to you, because I actually saw that quality in you from your Instagram, you know?
I do.
Yeah, that's fine. Sorry?
I'm not very good at Instagram, to be honest. I'm not very good at like salesy market. I'm just, oh God, I just don't understand it. But thank you.
Look, to be honest with you, I personally don't look for people who are good at sales and marketing. I look for people that are like honest and passionate, and exactly what you were saying. Like, if you don't like something, you don't fuck with it. You know, you only really care about shit that you care about. Look, I won't take up too much more of your time. I know it's Friday for you. I would like to hear one piece of. Is it Friday for you? It's Friday there, isn't it?
Fuck yeah, you're right. It is.
Fuck
cool.
Yeah.
Things don't matter.
I only know that because
nice.
I had scheduled meetings today, so that's the only reason I know it's Friday. So one piece of advice to your viewers and our viewers: if they're sitting on their hands waiting to do something, driving to work, thinking about shooting themselves instead of going to work, or taking an entrepreneurial run at fucking something that they're passionate about, what would your piece of advice be?
Good question. Okay, so the actual advice itself is going to be boring, but hopefully my reason for choosing it will justify it. I'm going to say what I imagine everyone says to that question, which is just fucking do it, you idiots. Just go and do it. If it fails, doesn't fucking matter, because you're in the same position you were before. If it succeeds, whoop-de-fucking-do. Well done. Like, the thing that holds everyone back is time. Like, if you'd started the thing 10 fucking years ago, it might have worked by now, but you didn't, because you kept doing the same thing that you hated. So just do it. Like, you don't have to quit your job and do nothing but draw pixies or whatever it is you want to do. Just draw the pixies in your spare time and start showing them to people. Just start doing it. And if you don't start doing it, then maybe have the courage to accept that maybe you don't care about it that much. So stop being so pissed off that you're not doing it. Because if you really wanted to do it, you might have fucking done it by now. So go and do it. Or shut up and don't. Just pick. Just fucking pick. Because otherwise, you spend your whole life in this, oh, well, I could have done that thing if I really wanted to. Well, why didn't you then? Stop. The one thing that I'm generally a pretty upbeat guy. The one thing that pisses me off is people, like, I'm very, very lucky. Like, there are so many things in my life that have made me lucky. Like, the lifestyle I was born into, the family, the culture, all of that stuff, right? There's so much luck has gone into where I am, but no fucking luck has gone into how hard I've worked to be here. And that goes the same for everyone else in my position. Like, we didn't fluke our way through the hard work. Yeah, the hard work might have been, we could have got further because of how lucky we were to start with or how lucky we've been along the way, 100%. But how fucking hard you work along the way, that comes from inside you, right? So don't fucking tell me how lucky I am. I got off my ass and did it. So if you haven't got off your ass and do it, don't sit across a beer table from me and say how lucky I am to do what I love. Get the fuck on with it. Do it yourself. And then if it doesn't work for you because you weren't as lucky as me, then come tell me I was lucky. But don't say that until you've done it. So my advice is just go and do it and be honest about whether you love it or not, because people can tell.
That is hands down the best answer I've ever heard on this thing. Thank you so much for that. Dude, it's been an absolute pleasure. Look, I'll have this video up probably in about a week. It'll be a full podcast and everything like that, and we'll definitely have that excellent answer. I love it.
Oh, thanks, man. You just chop out all the other shit that I said.
No, the whole thing. I've enjoyed every second of it. Thank you so much for being a part of the I Don't Have Time to Work community, and I can't wait to see all the strongman stuff.
Yeah, it's coming up, man. It'll be mid July. I'm going to put so much content up about that. There's big things coming from the guild. I promise you that. I promise you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for having me involved, man.
Once you get it back up, once you get the guild up, we'll get you back on and we'll have another chat.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I'll have such a fine array of hats and cloaks by then to signify my rank as
that
guild
sounds
master
amazing.
of my own non-existent guild.
That's amazing.
Thanks,
All
dude.
right. Thank you. See you. Bye.
Been a pleasure.
See ya.
Bye.
Seriously, like, words of fucking wisdom. Just either shit or get off the pot. Fucking do it. Or if you don't do it, don't fucking whinge about it. All right, that's my rant for this week. Thank you once again for tuning in. We've been really appreciated. Well, when I say we, I've been appreciating all of the comments and everything like that while Troy's up there just living it up in fucking God knows where, paradise with his family. Hey family, how you going? Love you guys. But yeah, as I said, Troy's going to be back. We've been loving all the comments and everything like that, and we can't wait to see you next week. We've got a couple more absolutely incredible special guests that we will be talking to, another couple of people from overseas, which I'm very excited for. And we'll see you guys on Sunday night. Don't forget Instagram.com/I don't have time to work, Facebook.com/I don't have time to work. We go live every Sunday on Instagram at 8 p.m. for the Sunday session where we talk to entrepreneurs, business owners, and creators to get your mindset out of the Monday to Friday fucking mindset. That's it. That's what we do. We'll see you on Sunday. Thanks again. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, hit the bell if you want to get notified when the videos come out, because I know I fucking want to know when they come out. We're rescheduling now, so it'll be every Thursday at 8 p.m. Right on 8 p.m. I'm making sure that it'll be there. So yeah, that's the news for you, and that's been our episode. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening. If you're on the podcast, thanks a lot. This will be available on Anchor. Cheers. We'll see you next week. Bye.